The larger concern with the Jordan Neely situation is a self-defense concern. So there's a macro concern of Medicare for all, or however you want to address the mental health crisis or even the homeless crisis in our country. But one of the macro concerns that needs to be bubbled up more is self-defense. That's what we're seeing at the heart of this issue. And the populist left is just, they're in such a bad place. And I mean this respectfully to my friends at the populist left. You are in a very bad place. Mentally, you need help. You guys are in a very awkward no man's land position where your takes are getting worse by the second. And AOC is saying something that my friends, I'm talking about good people on the populist left, agree with. Here it is. AOC says Republicans keep blaming mass incidents on mental health, but then defend the unliving of the mentally ill too. I'm paraphrasing to make it YouTube friendly. So they're using the tragic life of Jordan Neely and the tragic unliving of Jordan Neely as a weapon against their political enemies. And what does she do? A lot in this tweet here. AOC is a very good social media user. I think she's the one posting these. She's the one that has that mindset. You can't just get anybody, or whoever's posting them knows what they're doing. Republicans means MAGA. They don't care, like corporate Republicans they roll over. They're nothing. They're the same as Democrats. They're talking about MAGA. She's basically saying MAGA keeps blaming mass incidences. So all of a sudden, we now wrap in 2A. Look at that. Peep game. They just wrapped 2A into the conversation of a bum acting erratically on the subway train, allegedly. So all of a sudden they bring 2A into it. What does that have to do with 2A? There was no weapon involved. Oh, I'll tell you why they wrapped it in. But then she says, but then defend the unliving of the mentally ill too. Like, if you didn't know what happened, you'd think the 24-year-old young man just walked up on the subway train and yoked out a homeless person for fun. So that's, and my friends on the populist left, they don't speak out against this. I don't know what's going on with y'all. Y'all are, woo! The Jordan Neely situation proves to me that the 2A concerns from people like AOC and even those on, how could you be populist left and against 2A? The same people I'm talking about, a lot of them are not against 2A, but they don't speak against AOC on this angle. They agree with AOC on this. They agree with the corporate Democrats on the Jordan Neely takeaway. It proves to me that the 2A concerns are not about the weapons. People in power don't want you to have the right to defend yourself. How do I know that? How do I say that so definitively? Derby, thank you for creating this video. Derby on Twitter said to me, you are so right, and many are making this about race. So they're making it about race. It's not. People should not be fooled, even though they will be. Self-defense is under attack. In the UK, Derby's telling me, you can be charged for fighting off an attacker. I'm not familiar with that, but this is an anecdote from somebody. I wouldn't be surprised. The only thing allowed, I mean, that's what's happening with this case with Jordan Neely. The only thing allowed is running away. I'm very serious about this. And we've seen that in laws in certain states where somebody breaks into your home, you still don't have the right to defend yourself. And then, so how am I able to be so definitive in this, in saying this, and saying why the populist left is embarrassing themselves? They could easily say, we don't know what happened. I'm saying like Lance or whoever you want to say populist left. The populist left take could easily be say, we don't know what happened, so don't protest this. Like, don't protest for no reason. We don't know what happened. We support the right of people being able to defend themselves. AOC could say this. Let's use his tragic death as a wake-up call to these macro issues, i.e. Medicare for all. So you see why I'm so confident. You could easily say that. Let's use it for, I'm not going to knock anybody for defending themselves, but let's use it for Medicare for all or whatever else, universal basic income, whatever you want to do. Even if people don't agree with those, they could understand the take. That's a person you could share a country with if they say, if he had to defend himself, that's what he had to do. Nope. Instead, it's a cause for protest with no purpose. What are they protesting for in NYC? They're ruled by corporate Democrats. They went after Trump. They got him to come in for arraignment. What else do you want at this point? There's no purpose. They're rooting for chaos and using it to attack the populist right, race baiting, etc. And you look at this, these same people who don't even acknowledge the self-defense rights are the same people AOC has reportedly, this is from July of 2021, New York Post, AOC has spent thousands on security, including 4,000 plus to contractors for her own security. So that's fine if you got the money and you can pay for security, but if you can pay for security, guys with those 2A weapons, and if you were on the subway, you wouldn't have to yoke out a bum. They would handle it for you. You better not have an anti-self-defense take. You better not ignore self-defense if you're spending $4,000 a month and you work for the people and you're advocating against self-defense or ignoring it. I said Cori Bush also famously pays a lot for security detail and has these same terrible takes. If AOC and Cori Bush and any of them in Congress, except for like a handful of MAGA people, if they were on that train and Jordan Neely was unlived, if he was white, even if he was black and they knew it wouldn't make the news and maybe he was yoked out by a black person, it would never make the news, they would walk on the face of his corpse. Her, AOC, and their security would put their foot on the face of his corpse on the way out of the train and their way to Subway or Starbucks or to wherever the hell a Broadway play, wherever they were going, and wouldn't think twice about it.
Got these girls on my neck, got these girls on my chest.